Today I'm going to take the topic of relativity. When I'm saying this word relativity, it means the relation of the speed of an object with respect to the speed of the light. So here comparison is of the speeds of light as well as the particle. If we consider everyday experiences, what we observe that objects, they move at speed that is much less than the speed of the light. So these particles, they are moving with the less speed in comparison to the speed of light. These are the low speed particles. These low speed particles, for them, the mechanics that have been formulated is Newtonian. Low speed particles follows Newtonian, the laws that were given by the Newton. So they are well going for the low speed particle. So Newtonian mechanics is formulated. For these particles. And what about high speed particles? The Newtonian mechanics fails for them. Newtonian mechanics fails if particle approaches speed of light. If the experiments have been conducted and what the Newton theory says about them, that at high speeds, if we are accelerating any charged particle, for example, we are accelerating the electrons or any of the other particle that is charged, we are taking light particle through a large potential difference. For example, if it is possible to accelerate an electron to a speed of 0.99 of c. C here is the speed of light. So we can do this much by using a potential difference of several million volts. Several million volts have been provided to the electron and it has gained the speed 0.99 of the speed of light. But according to Newton mechanics, what Newton mechanics says, if the potential difference is increased by the factor of 4, the electron's kinetic energy is 4 times and its speed should double to the speed of light. Approximately it should be 1.98 of velocity of light. But we know the experiments, that modern experiments they have been conducting, nothing in this universe, no particle, nothing or no particle in the universe can have speed of light or more than that. So what is concluded? That this Newton theory is limited theory. It is limited when the particle is accelerating with the high speed. For low speed, it is applicable. So we say that Newtonian mechanics is a limited theory. Now, in 1905, Einstein published his special theory of relativity. I would like, what are the words from the scientist Einstein about the theory? He mentioned the relativity theory arose from necessity. There is a need actually, from serious and deep contradictions in the old theory from which there seemed no escape. The strength of new theory lies in the consistency and simplicity with which it solved these difficulties. And exactly, the theory of relativity solved the problem where it is applicable to low as well as the high speed. all contribution of Einstein's are important, but there is a remarkable contribution to this theory of the special relativity. Now, here we are discussing the features of the Einstein's special theory of relativity. Experimental observations from this Einstein's theory of relativity can be correctly predicted over the range of speed from 0 to speed that is approaching towards the speed of light. And second important thing is this, that when Einstein was working on this theory, he was also working on the electromagnetism. And when he was convinced that Maxwell's all equations were there for the electromagnetism, and he mentioned that these two are going on well, and because of that he assumed that space and time, they are not absolute. Further moving towards the features of Einstein's theory of relativity, it is the theory that covers phenomena such as slowing down of the clocks and contraction of length in moving reference frames. For example, if we are looking at the particular object or some length from some small distance, and it's the same thing if you are observing from a height, like height that much of aeroplane, the same thing will appear smaller to the eyes. So this relativity is there, and that is explained by this Einstein's theory of relativity. It also explained the relativistic forms of momentum and the energy, as well as the consequence of this. We are having the famous relation, Einstein's mass energy formula, that is E is equal to energy is equal to mc square. If anything is moving with the speed of light, then mass and the product of that speed square, that will energy, or mass get converted into energy when it is moving with the speed of light. The theory has a practical applications in the design of nuclear power plants and global positioning system, that is GPS. These two designs, they will not work if they are based on the non-relativistic approaches. So only on the basis of relativity theory, these things have been designed, the nuclear power plants and the global positioning system. The next topic that we are taking is the principle of Galilean relativity. To start this topic, we will first see the frame of reference that have been discussed by the Newton's law. If we describe any physical event that is necessary to establish a plane of reference, for that, for example, Newton's laws that we consider, the first law that we are taking of the Newton, we need inertial frame of reference for the same, in which an object is observed to have no acceleration if there is no force acting on it, if no force acts on it. Furthermore, if any system, it is moving with the constant velocity with respect to that inertial system, must also have the same inertial reference. Hence, there is no preferred inertial frame of reference. It means, what is the conclusion? Result of experiment performed in a vehicle. If, for example, we are taking a vehicle that is moving with a uniform velocity, will be identical to the results of experiment performed by a stationary vehicle. So this is the point, this is the conclusion. The formal statement of this result, the formal statement of this result is the principle of Galilean transformation. Here, Galilean relativity principle indicates this thing, that if a body, that is a vehicle that is moving with a uniform velocity, the results of the experiment will be same as that of the stationary vehicle. Now, if we conclude the formal statement of the principle of Galilean relativity, so what we have discussed, it is that the laws of mechanics must be same in all inertial frame of reference. This is what we have concluded. The result is that if the observer is stationary, or if in one of the frame of reference is moving with the constant velocity, so there is no preference about the inertial frame of reference. The laws of mechanics remains the same in two of them. To make it more clear, we are considering a situation. This is a moving vehicle. This vehicle is moving with constant speed. This is a this arrow. This is showing, this is a pickup truck type, and there is a person standing here where this arrow is being shown, and this person is throwing this ball in upward direction. Now the passenger that is moving on the vehicle with a constant velocity, it appears to the path of the ball appears to it as a vertical path. If suppose there is an observer on earth, he is stationary, this truck is moving with constant speed, and the passenger on it is also moving with a constant speed. So this makes one frame of reference, and in that frame of reference, this ball that has been thrown by this passenger upwards follows like a vertical path. But the observer that is on earth, he is sitting here, he is not moving. So this, for this observer, the path of this ball appears to be parabolic. This is a parabolic path that is appeared by the observer on the earth that is stationary. So this is another frame of reference. So if we consider these two frame of references, one is for the passenger that is moving on the vehicle with a constant velocity, the same ball, and the observer that is on the earth that is stationary. So these two frame of reference, which we call is the right one. So both are correct. So how we are going to define them? Because for one it is a vertical path, for another it is a parabolic path. So here the concept of relativity will come. Only the relativistic principle is going to define this type of situation. So for this sort of situation where one frame of reference is lying with the stationary one, and one frame of reference is lying with the passenger that is moving with a constant velocity, we detect that no mechanical experiment can detect any difference between two of the inertial frame of references that have been discussed here. The only thing that can be detected is the relative motion of one frame with respect to the other. Here we are taking a point P where event is happening, and there are two observers in the inertial frame of reference. One frame of reference is denoted by S and another is denoted by S dash, where S dash, it is moving with velocity V with relative to the frame S. So this is the situation. Any event's location and time of occurrence can be specified by the four coordinates x, y, z, and t. X, y, z are going to specify the position in the space, and t is for the time. Coordinates can be transformed from one frame of reference to the other. This is what we are going to do. For inertial system S and S dash, as shown in this figure, here the S dash is moving with a constant velocity that is along x dash, and V is the velocity with which it is moving, that is relative to this frame of reference S. An event occurs at point P, and origin of S and S dash coincide at time when it is 0. Observer in S describes the event with space-time coordinates x, y, z, and t. And for the observer in S dash uses the coordinates x dash, y dash, z dash, and t dash to describe the event. Now the relationship between these various coordinates is, this is clear from the figure, the x dash is equal to x minus vt, y dash is equal to y, z dash is equal to z, and t dash is equal to t. So these are the set of the Galilean space-time transformation equation. Here time is assumed to be same in both the inertial system. It means the framework of classical mechanics for all clocks run at the same time, regardless of their velocity. Consequently, the time interval between two successive events should be same for both the observer in this case. Though this assumption is obvious, but if the speed is comparable to the speed of the light, then this turns out to be, these equations turns out to be incorrect. Now suppose that the particle moves a distance small dx in a time interval, small time interval dt, as measured by the observer in frame S. It is followed from the Galilean space-time transformation equation that the corresponding distance dx measured by an observer S dash can be given by this equation. Basically, we have differentiated the equation both the sides. Since t is equal to t dash in the Galilean space-time transformation equation, therefore on differentiating we will get this. Because of this, dividing this side by dt dash and that side by dt, we will get this equation. Now this is taken by ux dash equal to ux minus v. In suffix we have taken the x for denoting the movement in direction xx dash. Here u is used for the relative velocity of the two frames, and this set of equation is known as Galilean velocity transformation equations. These Galilean velocity transformation equations goes well with our everyday observations. They are okay with them. But if we apply these equations on electromagnetic waves, so contradiction occurs. Serious contradiction occurs on applying to electromagnetic waves. So this is what we have studied for the Galilean transformation equations, that is the space-time transformation equation, and these are the Galilean velocity transformation equations.